coffee. Where's my coffee?
I didn't realise we have matching mugs as well, look.
Matching cheers.
Cheers.
So guys, it has been 3 months now. I believe 3 months?
About that.
About 3 months since we left the Philippines. And of course, a lot has changed.
A lot has changed, and it's been a few weeks since you've seen us, so hello.
Hello guys,
we are
welcome back to another video. We haven't been filming as much as of late, as we've decided that this channel is wholeheartedly travel based now, and you don't want to see us standing around waffling. But today, you're going to see us standing around waffling?
Chit-chatting.
Chit-chatting in the kitchen with our morning coffee.
We have spoken to the...
Oh, that's
what?
hot.
Did you just burn yourself?
That was a hot coffee. I'm going to put it down.
We have spoken to the lovely Jumping Places.
We're Chris and Carol from the YouTube channel Jumping Places.
If you don't know who they are also travel vloggers
Yep.
who are currently in the Philippines.
Yes, they decided when they found out that lockdown was approaching to stay in the Philippines, to move from where they were staying to another part of the Philippines, as they believed that that would be a safer alternative for them. They did have a flight booked back to Portugal, but after that was cancelled, they didn't make the decision to leave the Philippines. They decided to stay because they believed it was safer where they went. They moved from one area of the Philippines, which was a less touristy place, which they will explain in the lovely clip that they've sent to us, to El Nido, which I think we all know, which is again a very touristy place, but it is pretty secluded, so you would presume the amount of cases would be very low.
And we've been in El Nido for the entire quarantine lockdown, so I think almost 2 months now, right?
Yeah, it's been 2 months. So we decided to go to a place where we knew that we would be with other tourists, and I think that's why we came to El Nido.
I'm going back in for the coffee.
You know?
Exactly.
Over in England, the cases, I think we were the worst hit in Europe.
We are the worst hit in Europe.
Still are.
They are saying now 40,000, but the death rate is believed to be around 60,000. I believe in El Nido, at the moment, there is 0 cases.
Didn't even know if El Nido was going to be locked down, right?
Yeah, we didn't know at that time, and we didn't know what was going to happen. We were afraid, like, we didn't know if that was the good choice.
So in terms of that, they've made completely the right decision. If we, in hindsight, had the decision to make again, we would have stayed. We didn't really have the decision.
Let's just explain what happened first.
Hold on. Should we rewind 3 months? Let's rewind 3 months, right?
No, right, so I'll just do a long story short because you don't want to hear me waffling. Some of you will know this story. We were in the Philippines with Matt's dad, and we had already booked our flight home because we had a forwarding flight in May to South America.
We had some... Can I take over? I'm going to take over on the story.
If he wants to butt in and take over.
We had work commitments in South America. We were travelling to South America on the 5th of May. We were always leaving the Philippines. The flight was booked. And when we did leave the Philippines, which was 2 days before the official lockdown, there actually wasn't that much talk of the lockdown. We'd heard about it and we weren't sure whether it was definitely going to be implemented.
Can I say something quickly? We actually didn't think coronavirus was going to get to England in a way that it had travelled to China.
We in the UK, it wasn't really a thing. When we were travelling back in the Philippines, all the way back in January even, we're having our temperature scanned, everything, just to go into our apartment in Manila. And then when we travelled to India and Sri Lanka, every airport, every shopping mall, every activity that you'd done, your temperature was taken, everything was scanned.
But
so
we thought that was crazy.
Uh-huh.
We didn't get it because there was no talk at home.
Nothing.
And we were quite happy to go back to the UK because we knew we had this flight and we knew we had work commitments. So we were quite happy with that. As soon as we had left the Philippines, we were on that flight home and the news came up that America had... what had they done? Had they banned Europe?
They had banned everywhere in Europe apart from the UK. And the cases in the UK over that next couple of days increased and increased and increased, which led to the eventual, may I say way too late, lockdown.
It was the right decision for us, but at that time we were super afraid and unsure about what was going to happen.
Which is why, in hindsight, staying in the Philippines would have made sense, because we always said if we'd stayed in the Philippines, we would have gone somewhere like Jumping Places did, El Nido, somewhere like Shargal, an
But you've
island.
got other people that are there as well.
Of course.
Also, we kind of, in hindsight, obviously we wouldn't have booked our flight home, but obviously we had a commit. Like none of this is ever. We're never going to been able to plan well for this. As Jumping Places have said, you know, it's very hard to know what your next step is going to be.
You're still unsure now what is going to happen next.
We want to talk about the differences between.
Yeah.
How we are in lockdown.
What was the right? What was
we
the right?
We know.
We are in lockdown. You're in lockdown. Everywhere in the world is in lockdown. But was it the right decision from us to go back to the UK and lock down there rather than lock down in the Philippines? We of course didn't go home to lockdown. We still thought and intended to fly to Buenos Aires on the 5th of May.
I think that was the hardest thing, was that we still had every intention of being able to travel.
Yeah.
And now all of this has come into play, and we have been stuck in our homes for 3 months with there's no end goal of date in sight as such.
No.
So El Nido, we pretty much had the same rules as Manila, even now there's still no cases here. But we had to follow pretty strict rules, I think, but I think it was for the best. We've always had this pass here. It's a green pass. It has mine and Carol's name on it. And that's just for us to go out, so when you go into town to do grocery shopping and stuff, there's quite a few checkpoints, so we have to show this pass. And also only one person can go at a time.
As you can see there with the clip, that have we just shown it? We may have already shown the clips. Post-editing, Molly's the post-editor. If we've shown the clips, that in El Nido there will be checkpoints along the way. You'll have to take a special card to go out, which is incredible to us and mind-blowing because you don't have any of this. Like,
see, I would think that this would be extremely important in Manila because of the dense population. You would expect to know where every single person is going to be.
London. We are in London and there's none of this. El Nido
I was in the middle of explaining
has
something.
very few cases.
Yeah.
And they have that. It just shows the care and the levels the Philippines are willing to go to protect their people.
When we go, we always have to wear masks, of course, and keep the social distancing.
For example, for us to be able to go to the shop, we do not need anything.
Nothing.
There can be 4 of us go into the shop. We can all go in at once. We do not need to wear a mask.
No.
We do not need to wear gloves. In the Philippines, you do have to wear a mask to leave the house, and you do have to have that pass with you.
Yeah. Which
We
is
don't have
important.
that. We
You can
needed
trace people.
that.
And again with the masks, they recommend that we wear a mask, but there isn't enough masks.
There's no enforcement and there isn't enough masks. So technically we can go out as we are, which we do. However, there's no rules as to whether me and Matt can go in the shop together. So technically...
No, there's different rules in different shops as
Exactly.
well. There's different ones. And even now, some shops have completely scrapped the 2-metre rule. And you can walk in, it's just like a free-for-all.
El Nido's been pretty much empty. It's like a ghost town right now. Obviously a lot of you guys might know this is probably the most popular touristic place in the Philippines. So in the town, the majority of the buildings are like restaurants, hotels, stuff like that. So once they all shut down, yeah, it's pretty much just empty streets, which is good for the social distancing. But I think what we've liked is that the markets and the supermarkets have always been fully stocked, always had all the food and supplies. They're usually empty as well, so you can usually get in and out pretty quickly without bumping into people.
Our Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that we were allowed an unlimited amount of exercise, which meant that basically everyone just was out at the park. May I add, not exercising.
Yeah, not exercising, relaxing, sunbathing, because we've actually, for once, had hot weather in the UK, which has been a huge bonus to this quarantine. We're lucky enough to have a garden. We've been able to sunbathe in the garden. As you've seen, we've been playing with our dogs, playing with our tortoise Harry, and just taking the dogs to walk, making the most of the sunshine. But again,
there's only so many times you can do that. I agreed with the 1 hour of exercise because it limits the amount of people that you see and come into contact with. In the Philippines, you're not allowed out. Well,
but
at the time,
when this was sent to us 2 weeks ago, we have been very slack on the videos. We do apologise. We're getting around to it now, but they were not allowed to exercise. That may have changed. Comment below whereabouts you are in the Philippines and whether you are allowed out for that exercise now.
We know the rules are different sort of everywhere.
We're not allowed to go to beaches. We can't do any tourist stuff. There's no boat tours or anything tourist related anymore. So we're literally not allowed to do anything. Just like proper lockdown everywhere else. So
we can go out to buy food and to go to the pharmacy, only those important things, but anything else.
Yeah, can't do anything else, not even allowed to hang around outside, and not even really for exercise.
We have seen now that some malls in Manila are starting to open slowly, but again, with completely different rules to what you're used to. It is basically the new, I don't know, it's hard to explain. The new future, is this the new reality? But for how long?
I would like to think that people keep some of these rules in mind. I have felt that, you know, people need to be more considerate in terms of personal space. But, you know, it's very difficult to say whether we in England have done the right thing.
Yeah, I think we haven't. Our death rate says that we haven't. Like I've said, in hindsight, I would have loved to have stayed in the Philippines. Made the decision.
Are you drinking your coffee?
I am, but it's giving me the sweats.
I'm literally sweating.
I'm really hot.
This is because we are not used to the English heat.
No, it's different heat to the Philippines. But if I had that choice, I'd be there now with jumping places, sitting on my balcony, looking out at them incredible views.
Being around the locals that are relaxed and treating you nicely, it's definitely helped a lot. And I think it was a good choice to come to NIDO as well, because obviously this place is beautiful, right? So there's a lot of nature and stuff, so you don't really feel that trapped. I think if we had gone to Manila, we might have ended up being in an apartment block, and we've had people tell us that are in Manila that it's not so nice there. So
and as you can probably hear, we are in the middle of the nature.
Yeah, I'll probably put some clips of our resort here. So it's been really nice, and I guess some days it still feels like a vacation.
The views here aren't great. So,
I mean, we're looking out at our washing on the line.
Washing on the line. It's not the nicest of views, but
what did Boris Johnson say?
We can now go round to other people's houses, but not inside the house. We can go into the garden as long as we stay socially distanced, which is very good until you need to use the toilet.
However, he did advise that if you have no other option and you have to go to the toilet, you are allowed to use it, but you have to clean it afterwards. I don't know how many people.
I don't know how this is going to work.
This is what we're saying, is that none of the rules are very strict. Like, people aren't going to adhere to that, because if I'm going around to my mum and dad's and I need the toilet, my mum's not going to tell me I'm not allowed to use the toilet. There are a lot of
flaws in a lot of the rules. I presume that is the same in the Philippines. Some of them are like, does this need to be done? Can we not just do this?
However, the rules in the Philippines have worked.
Yeah, exactly. This is why, even when we first come back and we knew there was a lockdown, that is why I said I would have much rather been there, because you can isolate yourself in a specific part of the Philippines. That is the charm of the Philippines, that there is over 7,000 islands.
And it just didn't make sense to go all the way to a country on the other side of the world that we know is worse than the Philippines. Like we said before, Philippines, I think they've done a great job. They shut down early, so the death rate's never been that high so far. And even El Nido, where we're at right now, is pretty much reopening in a few days. So I think that was the best thing to do. They closed early, and now they're gonna reopen some parts early with pretty much no deaths at all.
You can choose one of them islands and there'll be no cases. Of course, Manila being the hotspot, it was always going to be a hotspot. Cebu City is always going to be a bit more of a hotspot than somewhere like Siargao, because you can just completely shut off that island to the outside world, and if there's no cases on there, you're not getting any more because no one else is coming in.
Somebody did send me an article today to let me know that Siargao had lifted some of its lockdown and you were allowed to go to the beach, but then they put the lockdown back on, I believe. So I think they were testing you. And I just think that this is the same thing as you can see with jumping places. They said at that time they were not allowed to the beach. That's why. Yeah. We are now allowed at the beaches, and the beaches are rammed.
We go. In the UK, I don't think people like law and order. They don't like strict rules. They don't listen to the rules as such, as well as they obviously are in the Philippines, because when, as Jumping Places have explained, they go out, people will ask them, nicely of course, because Filipinos are so hospitable, they'll ask them where are they going, what they're doing. Out here, someone could be doing anything. There could be a group of 20 people, nobody questions them.
We could walk out, when we were only allowed once a day, we could walk out with the dogs and
20 times a day. Not that we did, but people were, and no one questions it. I think if everyone sticks together and you have one overall goal, you're going to reach that goal.
Exactly.
I don't think we're going to be leaving for a long time now, right?
No, we don't know when we're going to be leaving because of the situation of the airports. I don't think they're open here in Puerto Princesa.
And we're just in a calm place right now, no cases. It's easy to go shopping like we said, so yeah, everything's kind of been perfect here. We've been very, very lucky and we feel very fortunate to have been stuck in El Nido.
But changes are happening. Changes are happening. Like we said, this clip from Jumping Places is 2 weeks old. We're very sorry. But
we have been spending so much time on our reaction channel, and we have been...
Oh yeah, our reaction channel. We haven't even explained our reaction channel.
I was just about to. We have relaunched our reaction channel. Some of you might remember that we started it back in January, December, January, when we were in our apartment in Manila. We started it, but we didn't finish it through because we were traveling. Now we have the time, we thought, and we've reached 100,000, we thought we should try and put our all into this for you.
So we've relaunched it with a twist. We are doing reactions.
Did you like my twist there?
We're doing some cooking, we're doing some languages, we're doing some eating, we're doing some news topics, and we're doing some games. And it's all coming thick and fast at the moment. And that is why we've decided to wholeheartedly that's the coffee coming out. Focus on only travel on this channel. So there won't be, I was about to say there won't be sitting down talking, but this is a sitting down. This is a standing up talking video. But dogs.
Sorry about that. Oh my God!
Dogs are going mad.
Flora, come here. Come here.
Excuse me. Get in.
What we would like to say. Shh. Come here. Say sorry.
Good girl.
What we would like to say is that if you could all go and have a look and subscribe. Dabble the reaction. Dabble the reaction, We are taking all of your recommendations, and also Jumping Places have been doing a lot of cooking. My aim on our other channel, because we are going to be doing reactions and more, is to try and do as much different food as possible. Being in lockdown has made me realise that my culinary skills are limited to like fajitas and tacos. So I wanted to try something new.
I want some sisig.
Oh well, obviously
I really want to try like homemade sisig. So well, us trying to make Molly making me eating sisig, but yeah,
we just need to get the sizzling dish. That's all. So
sizzling dish. But make sure you keep sending all them recommendations over to us, and we'll get round to doing it. And there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Looking online, Cebu Pacific are now starting some domestic flights. Philippines Airlines are starting some international flights soon. From the UK, you can now, well, maybe you're not. Well, this is where it doesn't make sense, right? So. Some countries are now allowing you to go there. So Croatia, you're now allowed to go to. Iceland from the 15th of June, you're allowed to go to. Italy opens up tomorrow and we are allowed to go to. But it is illegal for us, or breaking the rules, to go to the airport. I hope within the next month to 6 weeks that there will be travel videos back on this channel. But in the meantime, there will be more videos on this. Let's promise you once a week until we get travelling again.
Really? We're not going to be able to fulfill that.
We will fulfill once a week.
Just tell us what you want to see.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be comparing countries that we've travelled to, travel guides on certain countries that we've travelled to.
Best beaches, best beaches, things like that.
I want to get back to the beaches. Jumping Places, we are so jealous of you.
We are so jealous.
Your view, that wins it, doesn't it? They can look out on their balcony at that view. But yeah, we hope everyone's staying safe. Quarantine haircuts, Molly done another. It's not too bad.
So it's your quarantine roots. Look at that, I'm basically brown haired now.
Oxygen.
Aww.
Repping Oxygen. I'm feeling Filipino today, but yeah, hopefully we can get back travelling soon. Comment below, what do you think? After us explaining and Jumping Places explaining the two situations, where would you have rather lockdown? Let us know.
I think we know the answer.
I think you know the answer, but let us know. Stay safe and we'll see you soon, hopefully back travelling.